The greenhouse vegetable industry in Florida has really shown enormous growth here, especially in the past 5 years. We've been doing a series of surveys over the past 20 years to sort of characterize the greenhouse vegetable industry over that period of time. And the most recent survey was done in 2013. And that survey showed that we went from having less than 100 acres of protected agriculture where we were growing fresh fruits and vegetables to this last survey showing nearly 400 acres. So we've seen a 4 or 5-fold increase just in the past few years. We're seeing increase in greenhouse vegetables both on a large scale and on a small scale. The larger scale growers are probably growing and selling into a wholesale chain involved with food safety programs and those kinds of things. But the larger number of individual operations are very small, trying to capture the local sales and direct marketing opportunities that are presented to them throughout the state of Florida. Especially in our large urban areas, there is a large demand for locally grown produce. So this is a way that an individual that has a relatively small parcel of land can get into production. And we're seeing certainly tomatoes is certainly a high interest crop, but the reality is that we see much more than just tomatoes in these greenhouses, and the whole gamut of specialty crops, leafy green vegetables, microgreens, all kinds of different crops are being produced. So it's definitely not just a tomato industry anymore, or at least in Florida that has been the case. In terms of production systems, the survey also identified what kinds of production systems growers are using, what kind of media is being used, and I think both on the crop side and on the production side that the answer to that is diversity. We see all kinds of crops, and we also see all kinds of production systems that are being used. There's a lot of cocoa fiber that's being used as a soilless media, perlite, and even composted pine bark is very popular among many of our growers, where we have an industry pine trees in the northern part of the state, so it's a readily accessible material. So I would say right now the trends in Florida would include increasing acreage, significant increase in acreage, a high movement towards specialty crops, and a diversity of production systems that meet the needs of that particular grower operation.